So can you please state your name and date of birth?
My name is Karen Rosenhoover. My date of birth is October 7th, 1943. I came to Venice in 1973. However, I was introduced to Venice prior to that through a friend and thought, yes, this is my fit. I mean, why did I come? It was, non-judgmental. In fact, you were encouraged to be the person you were. It was creative, it was diverse, it was fun, it was, there were so many things about it that it was funky. Everything about it to me seemed like perfect fit. So I came and stayed. I came from Johnsonburg, Pennsylvania, a town of 3,000 in northwestern Pennsylvania. Before I came here, I graduated from nurses training in Pittsburgh, worked in Cleveland for a year, and my friends called and said, we're moving to California, we don't know where, in 2 weeks, and I said, I'm in. So that was in 1965. Came out here, and I was a nurse, but my first job was a go-go dancer. I mean, I've lived in various areas, and there are some very cool areas in Los Angeles, like, Silver Lake and Echo Park, but Venice is so unique in that the biggest thing for me was that you're encouraged to be who you are. I mean, there was no judgment, every kind of person imaginable. And after coming from 3,000 people in northwestern Pennsylvania, I was like, this is it. This is what I'm looking for. And it just felt right. I came out once I was here. I mean, there's no way I could come out in Littletown, Pennsylvania. I mean, that would never be accepted. So, when I came out here, I wasn't out. But it certainly was in my heart and on my mind. I mean, I can remember my first experience going to a bar, Arnie's, and just going in there so frightened and just sat at the bar and ordered a beer and had the beer and then left. I mean, so I wasn't a big part of the bar scene until maybe about the mid-'70s, and then started going berserk. Then I really got into it. There was a lot of freedom in it. However, I still worked at jobs that I had to pretend I was straight. Being a nurse was not something, it was my stepmother's dream, and I really did not want to be a nurse. So I stopped being a nurse and was, exploring other avenues, went off to Europe for 5 months, came back, and that's when I started my own business.
Talk about your business.
Okay, it was Moe's Greens and Things. And I had this 54 truck that I drove across country from Pennsylvania with my dog. And I think the truck was $200. And I then got a camper on it. And my friend said, what about being, having a little route around Venice and Santa Monica with vegetables? Like I grew up with that. So I said, yeah, not a bad idea. Went out and got a business license, had my truck, and a friend, Donald, put on a wooden camper, enclosed, and off I went to the market. That market was like its own city. It was, booming from 3 in the morning. So my friend and I went down there to check it out, and it was a bit intimidating because, number one, it was all guys. I met one of the vendors, and he was such a cool guy. And I said, I'm going to start coming down here and delivering vegetables to the neighborhood. And he said, come on, bring it. So that's how it started. I'd go down there. I'd be down there about 3:30 every morning, get all my veggies, and these guys saved me really good ones. They would give me the best of the best. During the week, I had Venice and Santa Monica, and I had an aruga horn, and I would, do my aruga. People come out, and I got to the point that I had customers that would leave me blank checks and a list of what they wanted. I would go down Rose, and then I'd go up and down like the Pacific, down Dudley, and up and down the streets all the way to Westminster, and then I would go up Abbot Kinney. Rose was a big one. I mean, Rose gave me a lot of business. You know, Rose, and then I'd go up to, up to Main Street and into 3rd and to 4th and, all the way up. So it was really an experience. It was wonderful. I knew all these artists and none of them had money, so we ate whatever I had left. Some nights we'd have corn for dinner, some nights we'd have artichokes for dinner, some nights we'd have potatoes, some nights we'd have tomatoes. But I would feed all the Venice artists. Judy Baca was one of them, Donna Deitch, Christina Schlesinger, and Catherine Brame, who's my good buddy, and she was the director of the Art Walk, and a lot of them, a lot of them became out there as artists. We fed them all, had fun with them all, did drugs with them all, mostly pot, and it was just, it was like a commune, only we had our own places, and everybody cared about each other. I mean, is this person sick? Okay, I'll make some soup, bring it over. And then if we'd have dinners, everybody would bring something. It was really like a commune, and really a lot of love, lots of love. Most Greens and things ended around the end of '74, and then I started doing house painting with my partner, and we did that for some time, close to 3-4 years, and she was also an artist, so we did murals. I mean, I was like paint by the numbers. She would just tell me where to fill in things. I was not the artist.
Well, in the 60s and 70s, there was a lot of great music happening down here, and poets and all those different interesting people. Did you get to partake in any of that?
Well, I was thinking about this on Abbot Kinney. There were, I think, 2 places. There was the Merchants of Venice, which was, a store. It was a mishmash of everything. And then there was a Come Back In, which was a music venue. And that was awesome. I mean, I think you would go in. I'm not even sure if they charged you. I mean, if they did, it was a couple bucks. And so you would go there and you could order maybe, bread and cheese and have a beer or have a wine. And that was an amazing little place. Janis Joplin, I think, appeared there. Yes, I saw her a couple times. Wow. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'm really happy I was born. I mean, perfect. Came out here in '65, full-on hippie. I mean, I just jumped in and said, this is living, this is the best. And of course, Jim Morrison lived here. I mean, he actually, when I lived in Laurel Canyon, he didn't live too far from me, and I had a little escapade with Jim Morrison. So there's my claimed 15 minutes of fame.
Care to expand upon that?
Well, yes, I'm coming out of a restaurant with my buddy, and he's coming out with his buddies. I mean, we're all stoned. And he said, hey, there's a party, and I knew exactly where. I was up in Laurel Canyon, and he said, you want to come? And I thought, hello, yes, yes, I will. And my friend said, no, I don't think so. I said, okay, I'm going. It was pretty great. I got a little feel up on the boobs from Jim. So I can always say these boobs have been filled up by Jim Morrison.
Did you ever meet Dolores DeLuce?
Good. There's my buddy. She's awesome. Talk about a creative, amazing person. I've known her from the boardwalk and when Viva was this big. I mean, she was, when she was a teensy little thing. And Goldie Glitters and Divine, and we hung out with all of those people. I mean, Dolores to this day is like, I love seeing her. She performed with the Psycho Sluts and, the San Francisco group, and she performed with a lot of people. And of course, Divine and Goldie were good buddies of ours. We all hung out in the boardwalk. And it was Divine. I mean, that was pre him getting, famous. So he was quite just a good buddy. He was our good buddy, and these parties were raucous. They were just everything imaginable. They were great. And lots of drugs, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We did it. Everyone that I'm associated with, and even family and friends, know a lot about Venice. But I think one of the things, and maybe that was more back in the day, that people would say to me, "Aren't you afraid to live there?" I mean, that is like something that I can't imagine. There was no fear. I just felt just like I fit, and it was my home. And I just would tell people that I'm so proud to live here, and proud of the people and their generosity and their love and their non-judgment. I keep saying that, but it's so true. I mean, that people just are so open to whoever you are. There's not like any judgment. So I guess I would say that if people didn't know it. It's just such a welcoming place. It has changed, but I still walk down Abbot Kinney and go to the Brig and have a beer, and people are, younger but friendly, seem very friendly. So I'd say, come one, come all, you're welcome, because it's a great place. It's an amazing place.